Hi, my name is Lena. Welcome to my channel, and we continue talking about Iliad. Uh, this time, read along that Steve Donoghue is hosting. This time we read chapters 13 to 18, and it's basically same old. I mean, it's basically fighting and very graphic killing, and as Steve Donoghue said, characters are introduced just to be killed a couple of seconds later. My mom said that she read War and Peace the way most of the girls at her time did. They skip all War and read all Peace. And I kind of was ready to do it with Iliad because I couldn't even care who fought for whom. Somebody killed somebody, and I didn't care who it was. Was it Trojan? Was it one of the Achaeans? I got very tired of this fighting. And I'm a bit confused. In early chapters, we know that Hephaestus suffered from Zeus when he tried to defend his mother, Hera. And I thought that's when he got injured, that's why he is lame. But it turned out to be that he was born lame, and that Hera, the mother he loved so much, was actually ashamed of him, and he was raised by nymphs. He was raised by nymphs, including the mother of Achilles. So it was kind of surprising for me, and strange that he stayed lame his whole life, because gods seems to be able to cure their injuries. They are immortal and they can cure their injuries. So Aphrodite got a very light wound and she was cured. Ares was wounded and he was cured, and Hephaestus stayed lame. And at the same time, he was a god, and I understand it that he wasn't handsome, although all the gods are. It's very interesting. And I was absolutely sure that he was married to Venus, to Aphrodite, but he was married to one of the Graces. Was they called Graces? I am confused. And so reading all this, I was more interested in the gods than in mortals. So I'd like to say that I kind of like Apollo in this epic, in Iliad. I didn't like him in Metamorphosis by Ovid. I thought that Ovid made a bit of a fun of him. When one moment he's so in love with Daphne, and when she turned into Laura's tree, he made a wreath from her branches as a sign of his undying love, and afterwards he is after some new beauty, and he actually kind of adjusted this Laura's wreath on his head. So there is no such thing as undying love of Apollo. as I understand it, and I kind of chuckled a bit. But in Iliad, he kind of earned my respect. He was the one who suggested to stop the first battle. That he said that it was enough um, blood spilled for this day, and the battle should be stopped. He was the one who helped Aphrodite to, after she was wounded, to um, save her son, Aeneas, sorry guys, and he was able to stop Athena um, from entering the battle, so he was able to keep her in check, and he seems to be a reliable friend for gods when they need one. So I really liked him in Iliad. Apart from the place when he helped killing Patroclus. I understand that he did warn Patroclus that it wasn't his place to take the city of Troy, that it wasn't destined for him. And Patroclus kind of did not listen. I understand that. But nevertheless, it wasn't actually Hector who vanquished Patroclus, but there was three warriors. First, Apollo, who kind of, I don't remember exactly what he did, but he did something with the armor that allowed another Trojan hero to strike Patroclus from the back with a spear, and Hector was the one who finished him. So it wasn't actually Hector. I think you have already seen Steve's video, and you know the premise, you know the story, that Achaeans was losing war, and they got as behind the wall that Trojans got behind the wall that Achaeans built to protect their ships. So Trojans were right before the ships, and Zeus decided that he done all that was required from him, and he um, stopped paying attention. So he got to another business, another peoples who worshipped him, and that was a moment when Poseidon, angry because of the loss of his grandson who was killed, so he starts helping Achaeans, and for some time, at some point, Achaeans started not exactly winning, but they were able to hold their ground, and they were able to throw Trojans back behind the moat, I believe, so behind the wall from their ships. So actually this victory in battle goes back and forth between Trojans and Achaeans, and we know that to ensure that Achaeans will be winning, Hera seduces Zeus and makes him fall asleep. So, and afterwards he kind of threatens her with torture, with physical violence, but doesn't do any of it. He just demands that Poseidon would quit the battlefield. Poseidon, I'm sorry guys. So, I don't understand this part about Patroclus. he takes Achilles' armor. He goes in the battle with fresh troops. He kind of sways the victory, so they start winning, they start killing Trojans again in great bulk. But nobody was deceived that he is Achilles. Everybody knew, including Trojans, that it was Patroclus in Achilles' armor. I do not understand this thing. Why armor? I think Achilles said that he was kind of defending, that Patroclus was defending his honor or enriching his honor, something like that. But I do not understand. Nobody was deceived. Everybody knew that it was Patroclus. And what struck me, so what I remember, what impressed me, is the battle over Patroclus' body. At this point, I don't like Hector, because Hector wants to chop off Patroclus' head and to mount it on a pike as some sort of sign of this victory. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't care that Hector loves his wife and son, that he defends his city. I don't like this part about him. So there is a great battle over the Patroclus corpse. And the way he wrote, I'm sorry guys, the way Homer describes it, that it was such a fierce battle that the body of Patroclus was covered with arrows and blood and dirt. So they basically, you know, moving around him back and forth, fighting over him, they basically buried him in dirt. So that was very graphic and very, very vivid. And afterwards, Achilles, one of the Nestor's son, I think, goes to Achilles to tell him about Patroclus' death, and Achilles has no armor. I have no idea why he couldn't use Patroclus' armor. So he has no armor, and he just shows up, and Trojans, Zeus, gods, Athena maybe, I don't remember. Gods make Trojans afraid of him, and they just run off. So, and that's the way Achaeans managed to save Patroclus' body. And Achilles is in mourning. All of the women they captured, so all these captives women, they seems to be mourning Patroclus as well. And so Achilles needs a new armor, and his mother, she decides to go to Hephaestus and to ask him to make a new armor for her son. And Homer stops the entire story and in a great detail describes this armor. And it's very, very strange. I think that arts were very important back then. The way it's very strange when in Canterbury Tales, in the middle of the Knight's Tale, the narratives basically stops to describe all the temples that were built to Venus, to Diana, and to Mars. So, in great detail. So, I think the I think being very good at arts were very important back then. So, and I was surprised that the way Hephaestus' house was described, his dwelling on the Mount of Orim. It was very much like old sci-fi movies, uh, when heroes would come in a great hall and they would see uh, human-like robots, and also it reminded me very much of these old sci-fi movies, and it was very interesting and enjoyable. And apparently, when you ask Hephaestus to, I don't know, um, to drive a nail into the heel of your boot, as a result, you will have something miraculous. He just cannot do a simple job. He needs to do something spectacular. It was very interesting and it was very strange. I understand that this armor plays a great part in mythology, that afterwards it will cause the argument between Odysseus and Ajax, and that was actually the topic of a tragedy by Sophocles. Sophocles, I understand that, but we spent the entire chapter basically looking at this armor. So, thank you for watching. Goodbye and happy reading.